Hi, today we're talking to Bobby Lynn Berry from Vantage IRA. Bobby Lynn, thanks for taking your time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. Just had a couple questions about self-directed IRAs. Can you just tell us the basics of what a self-directed IRA is versus, let's say, a traditional?
You mean publicly traded assets held within a more traditional type of setting or IRA type? Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Hi. Self-directed IRAs for me are so exciting because, well, one, I like diversification, right? I truly do. And being able to take control of my retirement account and purchase assets that are more in keeping with my goals, desires, and also the assets that I know a little bit more about, such as real estate. I love real estate and notes. Those are personally my favorite. So the difference between a self-directed IRA versus a traditionally held IRA is anything that Vantage is going to facilitate within a self-directed IRA is going to be anything not publicly traded. No stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and the like. It's rather going to be notes, real estate, precious metals, privately held companies, foreign land, currencies, precious metals, and so all of that.
So what is the process of converting your traditional IRA to a self-directed IRA?
The process is, well, typically once you've identified an asset and you determine you need a self-directed IRA company, the process would be to transfer or distribute and roll out the amount of monies you needed for the investment. So for step one, open a Vantage IRA. Once we get the account open, it takes us just a few days. And then from there, we will either pool the funds, if we're moving money IRA to IRA, right? So custodial company to custodial company. We will pool the funds. You just need to liquidate them. Then the funds are here. We notify you they're here. Step three would be to go ahead and identify and begin the process of investing and giving us instruction to do so. If you're bringing money over from a plan, if you will, we're not able to help pool. We simply will receive the funds. So the plan holder, they are going to give their current custodial company instruction to move the funds here. Once they're here, we're ready to go.
Can you define a little bit more about what custodial means?
Sure.
In the self-directed IRA format?
Absolutely. So Vantage is an administrator, right? Legally, you have to have someone facilitate, record keep, and do the proper IRS reporting on behalf of the retirement account. So in the self-directed world, Vantage, we're going to do that on behalf of the account, just like a Fidelity or a Charles Schwab would. They're going to take your instruction to buy or sell stock, do 5498 reporting, do 1099 if you take a distribution. So they're going to be responsible to do all of that, and likewise we're going to do that here for this type of an account. So in that world, you might, you call Fidelity, you can even log onto your account half the time and just say, sell this stock, buy this stock, I want to change from this mutual fund to that fund. A lot of times you can do that electronically, very easy. But in the self-directed world, it's very administratively heavy type of assets and paper pushing. So we will always need the client's instruction. We're always going to make sure that paperwork is received in good order. We will never approve or disapprove your asset, but there's key language such as the proper vesting. Who is the investor, who's the purchaser. In the self-directed world, it's the IRA. Okay, so it's Vantage for benefit of. I'll use me as an example, Bobby Lynn Berry Roth IRA. That would be the entity purchasing, let's say, real estate. So on the deed, it would be recorded just that way.
And you help walk the client through that whole process.
Yes, we do. We're known in the industry for a lot of hand-holding and taking good care, because it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, when you've only known traditional, and often people have an advisor, and so really the advisor is doing the bulk of the work for them. In this case, it's self-direction you know, it's a marketing term, but in our world it's really not. It's truly self-direction. And what that means is we're not advising you. You tell us what you want to do. We just have a few checks and balances so that we can facilitate and make it happen for you. We are not going to verify it's a good asset for you to purchase. Yeah, again, it is truly self-directed.
So there's not really much difference between you and a fund manager, probably a lot more hands-on helping than the fund manager who's really never going to call you.
True, very true. You know, the fund manager, however, they may or may not give you a little bit of advice along the way, potentially, or strongly encourage you to stay within the fund, right? In our case, we're not going to do those things, but we are here to walk you through every single step of the asset class you wish to invest in.
So can we just back up a little bit
Sure.
again and take what is the process? Somebody's got a traditional IRA and they call you and they say, Bobby Lynn, I want to self-direct my IRA now, moving forward. What is that process look like?
Sure, it's 3 steps. First step, open a Vantage account, right? We need the account open so we can receive the funds that are going to come in for the purchase of whatever alternative asset you're interested in. So open a Vantage account. It takes us 3 days with paperwork. Okay, you're going to give us your ID. It seems so silly and so small, and it really is as easy as here's your name, who are your beneficiaries, what's the type of IRA you wish to open. And then the second is really identifying where are the funds, what type of an account are their funds currently sitting in. And with that information, the IRA owner, they are either going to have to direct funds to the Vantage new account. Because it's a plan, we're not permitted to pull it. So they will have to fill out, the custodial companies, the plan administrator is going to give them instruction, you know, fill out these forms so that we can send the money from that current company to now the new Vantage IRA. And they'll make the check or send a wire payable Vantage for benefit of the IRA.
And at that point, then they can then start looking, or they can acquire assets that they want to self-direct now?
So the entire process, let's say you just learned, you're excited, you had identified a piece of property that you wanted to buy and somebody said, oh, you could do that within your IRA, let's just say. Typically that process from very start to finish, fill out Vantage's forms, all the way to Vantage having closed escrow, that's going to take, I would say, give yourself 30 days. 30 days start to finish. The reason I say that, even if, you know, we all have foot to pavement, all professionals are on board, it's a timely, it's time sensitive and we all need to hurry. You know, sometimes you can do it in less than 30 days, but you know, right now it's Christmas, right? We're all so busy. So that said, start to finish, I would give that little window, that cushion of time. But if we're all on the same page, we can move things quickly when the client directs a distribution and rolls it over. Again, that's the only way to do so from a plan is to distribute it and move it over. So that happens really quickly. Sometimes within 4 business days, the money can be in the new IRA. But when we move money from IRA to IRA custodial company, say like Charles Schwab, it's not a plan, it's a true IRA, raw, simple, traditional. If we move it that way, that's where that 30-day window is really important, because in the industry, it takes 7 to 21 business days to physically move the monies in a back office to back office manner, which means there's no offsetting your tax filing, right? You don't have to prove it was a true rollover, right? Because when you distribute money, that company has to issue a 1099 to the IRS. So whether you're moving money from a plan or a traditional, in the manner of distribution to roll it over, they'll issue a 1099. We're gonna report that we received said rollover, said distributed money on the form 5498 to the IRS. So it technically is a wash, right? So when there's time sensitivity, distribution to roll it over to the IRA, that's the quickest. And sometimes that's where we can see a purchase happen within 2 to 3 weeks. Otherwise, please don't put the cart before the horse. Give yourself 30 days.
So, and you're saying even to the point of somebody that is, let's say they've left their employment and they're going to another employer and they've got this 401k, they don't have to roll it over to Fidelity. They can actually come to you first.
Absolutely.
And start the process and avoid all the transaction fees that they would do there with their 401k.
Absolutely. So anytime somebody is retired, when the plan that is now technically free, right? You're released from employment. You have the right to take a distribution and take the tax hit. Nobody wants to do that. Please don't do that. Or you certainly can, if the current company, the new employer, if their plan allows for those funds to be received, then absolutely that would be another option. But then you just lost your ability to self-direct and to consider what other alternative assets might be a little bit more powerful for you to reach your financial goals, right?
Speaking of financial goals, it seems really incredible. Why isn't there more self-directed IRAs out there versus their traditional IRAs?
Well, I will tell you, in 1974, right, the government concluded that this would be a really great way to incentivize the country to put away money for their retirement. So they instituted this wonderful IRA. I mean, it is a great tool in your portfolio to be able to tuck money away, to do it in a tax-deferred manner, to be able to grow the retirement in a tax-deferred manner until you start taking distributions, of course. When it first came out in 1974 that this is the option, 99.9% of all the companies that had to get qualified and approved to be a custodian for these type of accounts, these retirement accounts, 99.9% of them all went to traditionals, and they own and dominated the market. They truly did. So Vantage, I feel like we've been salmon swimming upstream. We've been educating for over 13 years now, well, just about 13 years, telling the world, you can do this. I want to say about 2 years ago, I was at the airport, was getting ready to board the plane. There was a TV monitor that actually had volume. For the first time on a national platform, they were saying you can purchase real estate in your IRA on like the Today Good Morning show. I all fell out, right? So it really is just a matter of education. And there's, I want to say about 45 companies across the nation that do what we do.
This has been great, Bobby Lynn, and I appreciate all your time. If our clients want to get more information, they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
Absolutely, to call the office, 480-306-8404. I personally am at extension 16, but anybody answering the phones can assist you. Yeah.
And what about your website?
VantageIRAs.com.
Has a wealth of information. It's a great website. Bobby Lynn, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.